What's up? What's up? This is Poeticlee with Poetic RNB. This is our issue number 5 of the Poetic RNB Daily. So, today's conversation is about the business of being an artist, what they don't teach you, and it's a hard lesson that we have to go through. Most artists don't fail because you lack talent or you don't have the craft or the heart. They fail because you never learned the business of being an artist, and by the time you really realize it, sometimes the damage is already done. This industry doesn't warn you. It doesn't slow you down. It doesn't pat you on the back. It doesn't explain the rules before you play. It lets you learn the hard way. Look, I'm an artist as a poet, a producer, hip hop. I go through this battle, and that's why I want to talk about it. So let's get into it. Why artists fail before they even start. Here's the uncomfortable truth, right? Most artists release music before they understand ownership, before they understand splits, before they understand contracts. And this isn't key. This is key. When you collaborate, have the conversation. Look, before they even understand marketing. So from day one, they're operating at a loss. Yes, that's what it is when you're moving in the business, emotionally, creatively, and financially. This industry doesn't prey on ignorance, it benefits from it, okay? So when we understand that, let's go to number 2. Ownership is the foundation, not the finish line. Ownership isn't just about masters, it's about who controls distribution. It's key. Even when you do events, it's key. Distribution. I'm always going to talk about distribution. One thing we learn and we talk about here at Poetic R&B is who controls pricing. Right? Who controls access to your audience? That's all we just talk about on our earlier newsletters about your social media platforms and why it's important to have your own platform. Who controls long-term value? Look, if you don't own the foundation, every win is temporary. That's why so many artists go viral and still can't pay rent, still owe this, owe that. What does viral even mean? Let's have that uncomfortable conversation in 2026 and beyond. Look, contracts, splits, releases are strategy, not paperwork. Artists are taught to treat contracts like obstacles instead of strategy, instead of documents. But every contract answers one question: who benefits when this works, when this actually becomes a win? Splits determine motivation. Releases determine timing. Marketing determines survival. Understand that. Okay? Rewind it if you need to. Read the newsletter if you need to. Ignoring these pieces doesn't make you pure. It makes you unprotected. Don't you understand? When you're ignoring each of these facets, it just makes you unprotected. So, let me talk about Poetic R&B and why we sell even direct. Poetic R&B sells direct music because it preserves our value. Got a new R&B instrumental album on poeticrnb.com. Make sure you check it out, along with our Christmas album that we just dropped, but we're dropping some more. This direct-to-consumer strengthens our audience. It strengthens the loyalty. It strengthens, just the whole connection. It removes algorithm dependency. You're not trying to depend on this playlist. You're not trying to depend on how you fall into this lane. It teaches artists how to monetize sustainability. Streaming is exposure. We understand that. Streaming is exposure. However, direct sales are business. That's business. Artists who understand both long-term win, it's really moving as a business. Look, the 3 levels of artist business maturity. Let's go into it. Level 1, the creator. Focused on making music. I get it. You want to make the music. But avoid business conversations, which you have to grow into. I'm not saying overnight it's going to happen. You have to get comfortable. It's when you rely on platforms for validation, right? That's level 1, just being the creator. Level 2, the operator. You understand ownership, right? You start to learn splits, learn releases, learn branding, right? You're doing that. You're starting to think long term, because that's key. You're going to do this. You want the longevity of a career, not just the day, not just the week. You're starting to think long term. But level 3 is now the architect. You're building a system. You're owning your distribution and how that manifests for your longevity of your career. You're controlling the revenue because you get to determine your pricing, and your audience respects that, right? Your audience is programmed to that. You're being able to help now develop other artists, whether it's you as a songwriter, you as a producer, you as a vocalist. You're thinking legacy, not just drops. Poetic R&B, we exist to help artists move from creator to architect in your given gift. So I want you to think about this. The music business doesn't fail artists. Artists fail because no one teaches them how the business actually works. Poetic R&B isn't just releasing music. We're building infrastructure for artists when it comes to our venues and events, to the music. Those artists that want longevity, ownership, and real careers, because that's what it's about. This is entrepreneurship with a little bit of soul, right? A little bit of spirit and a little bit of honesty about where you can go through your business. So that's a little bit about what we do, but even more importantly about who you can be for yourself. So remember, have your platform, have your voice, but most importantly, know your plan and know your strategy towards the longevity of your career. Peace.